From the station working for you, this is Good Morning Indiana, streaming now.
It's Wednesday, December 9th, and right now on Good Morning Indiana. Coronavirus cases continue to surge in Indiana. Now the Hoosier state is getting a stern warning from the White House.
And I'm actually kind of surprised that the hours got cut back so drastically.
A New Carmel bar being forced to close in the middle of the afternoon. Why the city took action and the reason neighbors say they're shocked.
When we're born, we don't just wake up and say, hey, I want to commit a crime. I focus on the trauma.
A local organization is working hard to prevent crime at its roots. This morning, the extra help they're now getting to make Indy safer. Plus, it made its debut at the first Brickyard 400 here in Indy, only on WRTV, where this vintage vehicle was found, and its future once all the dust is removed.
Let's look at that car 99, and of course the big questions this morning after that White House report warning all of us on coronavirus. We'll have the latest on that, but first, a big good morning to my good friends Lauren and Kyle in Studio A. Good morning, guys.
Good morning, Raphael. Yeah, the big thing a lot of people are wondering about today is the forecast. We've been kind of giving little hints and teases all week long that today's going to be a lot nicer out there, Kyle.
Yeah, and Raphael can come out of that Franklin bunker and enjoy some of the nice weather, too.
There he goes.
Get a jump start on that day. We got temperatures for you this morning that are in the 30s, 32 in Greenfield, 35 downtown right now, still close to the 40-degree mark in Bloomington. A little bit of a wind chill. Does feel like the upper 20s in many spots. All right, we have had the clouds. That is one change for today. We are going to get rid of those. And you can see that that clearing line back across Iowa is making some pretty good progress here toward the south and east. So we are going to see some sunshine back in the forecast today. Here's a look at TrueCast and how that's going to kind of play out for us here. 8:30 this morning. Still some clouds around, but we're already thinning those out. And I think sunglasses going to be required for your lunchtime and as you go into the evening commute as well. That's going to get our high temperatures. The second change for the day, we are going to get out of the 30s and we will see a high temperature of 51, about 10 degrees above average in Indianapolis, 50 for you in Kokomo. And with those sunny skies, Fishers, you'll get to 52 and 54 later today in Bloomington. The mild temperatures looks like they're going to stick around for a couple of days, but Lauren has a check of your Wednesday morning drive.
All right, Kyle, here's a look right now just east of the downtown area, I-70 at Rural Street and Keystone Avenue. I'm not monitoring any crashes out that way at this early hour. So if you're heading to work or school on this Wednesday, should be smooth sailing. Raphael?
Laura, now to the latest on the coronavirus pandemic and its impact on our state. State health officials confirm 124 more Hoosiers have died with the virus. That's the highest number of deaths in a single-day report since last Tuesday. In the first 7 days of December, 399 Hoosiers have died with COVID-19. According to data from the state health department, that puts December on track to be the deadliest month of the pandemic in Indiana so far. On Tuesday, the health department also reported nearly 5,500 new coronavirus cases in our state. Since the pandemic began, nearly 393,000 Hoosiers have tested positive for the virus. This morning, a dire warning from Washington about the COVID-19 outbreak right here in Indiana.
And WRTV's Kelsey Anderson joins us live this morning with what they're saying. Hey, Kelsey.
Hey, good morning, Raphael and Lauren. So ABC News has obtained the White House, the latest COVID-19 White House task force report on Indiana. And it says that Indiana is in the red as far as cases go, and that we are 5th across the country in the highest number of cases per capita. So that indicates that 101 or more new cases per 100,000 people. That report also says, quote, despite the severity of this surge and the threat to the hospital system, many state and local governments are not implementing the same mitigation policies that stemmed the tide on the summer surge. That must happen right now. So now we could learn later today with Governor Holcomb's weekly press conference if there are going to be more restrictions put in place like this task force report says needs to happen. So that press conference is today at 2:30, and we will have that streaming live for you on air, and then of course always on online and then on our WRTV news app. Reporting live, Kelsey Anderson, WRTV.
Kelsey, thank you. Let's take a closer look at the national impact from the White House memo surrounding the coronavirus pandemic. The federal task force reports 37 states are showing a steep increase in new cases. Between December 2nd and Tuesday, coronavirus deaths across the country increased by more than 50%. This morning, federal health officials say nationally 30% of hospitals are using at least 80% of their ICU beds.
Lauren, this morning the Justice Department says federal execution team members have tested positive for COVID-19. The DOJ reports the 8 prison employees in Terre Haute tested positive following an execution that occurred last month. 5 of those employees will take part in an execution scheduled for tomorrow. The announcement is furthering criticism from saying that the Bureau of Prisons isn't doing enough to stop the spread of the virus behind bars. The news also comes as prison officials report an inmate died with COVID-19 at the Terre Haute complex.
A record number of homicides, making 2020 a violent year here in the city of Indianapolis, and now some local organizations are getting extra support to help combat crime. $2.2 million in violent crime reduction grants are being awarded. The money is available through Central Indiana Community Foundation and the City County Council. The Makeda Lavelle and Tripp Mentoring and Outreach Center is one of those recipients. They work with at-risk youth who have been suspended or expelled from the school. They plan to expand their services to help provide support and resources for young people even after high school.
We will be helping with job skills, helping find employment, helping to find housing, anything that will cause a barrier for them to be successful in our society.
Well, leaders say that they focus on finding the root of the cause of violent crime. They hope their work makes Indianapolis a safer place.
Let's now take you to Hamilton County, where Carmel residents are reacting there to a major setback involving a new bar. The Goat, it typically stays open until 3 in the morning. But city officials say they will begin enforcing a rule for the location requiring the tavern to close at 2 a.m. The city says the previous owners of the property ran a breakfast and lunch cafe. A variance, including the time of operation, was issued for the business and remains in place. Now, representatives say this new enforcement comes after continued complaints from neighbors and businesses. But neighbors and business owners we talked with are disappointed with that decision.
I didn't find it any problem whatsoever. And I'm actually kind of surprised that the hours got cut back so drastically. Maybe not be there as late as they were, but certainly not be closed by 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
The apartments next door and the condos next door, there have been some people complaining, but a lot of people I know that go to the Goat really like it and want to see it stayed open.
Again, the Goat will be required to close by 2 p.m. City officials say the Goat was mistakenly allowed to operate with a closing time of 3 a.m. And now the business owners will have to get an additional variance or a zoning change approved in order to stay open late into the night.
It is 6:08, and this morning, Saturday's Old Oaken Bucket game between Purdue and IU could be in jeopardy. Both the Boilermakers and the Hoosiers canceled practices on Tuesday for coronavirus-related reasons. We're going to bring you updates on this developing story at the WRTV News app just as soon as we learn any new information. Now, meanwhile, there are some major questions surrounding if Indiana will play in the Big Ten championship game. The Big Ten releasing a statement saying, in part, quote, the conference is committed to transparency and will continue to collaborate with its member institution stakeholders to determine Big Ten football championship game participation requirements as well as tiebreakers, end quote. If the Big Ten's rules stand as they are, the Hoosiers will play Northwestern in the championship. That's because Michigan has canceled Saturday's rivalry game with Ohio State due to a COVID outbreak. That means Ohio State will not play the minimum 6 games required by the conference to qualify for the title game. But the rules might not stand as they are. The championship is set for December 19th right here at Lucas Oil Stadium. Of course, we'll bring you updates on that situation as well. Raphael.
So a new effort aims at turning over wrongful convictions in Marion County. Still ahead, we talked to prosecutor Ryan Mears about how the program will work here in the state's capital city. But first, let's check on your Wednesday forecast with our Kyle Mounts. Good morning, Kyle.
And good morning, Raphael. It is now 6:10 here on your Wednesday morning, and as kids are heading off to the bus stop this morning, yeah, still going to need the coat out there. We've got temperatures in the middle 30s with some clouds, but that sunshine going to make a much anticipated return this afternoon. And look at that afternoon number 51 as the kids are heading home. We'll talk about how long that warmth is going to be sticking around. You're watching Good Morning Indiana on WRTV.
Welcome back. The time right now is 6:13. Here's a live look at traffic up on the north side where things are moving along up to speed. I-465, a view here near US 31 and Meridian Street. No delays to slow you down. Well, a new effort in Marion County aims to recognize and remedy wrongful convictions.
This morning, WRTV's Cornelius Hawker reports, Lauren, on the group's focus on criminal justice.
I talked to Prosecutor Mears about this new conviction integrity unit, and he explained to me why it was created.
The more we looked into it, the more we realized that it is incredibly important that every conviction that comes out of Marion County, not only today, but in the future, is based on the facts. But also looking backwards, it's incredibly important that those convictions as well were only based on the facts and not anything else.
You always hear every so often stories about people being exonerated years and years after they were convicted of murdering someone because of DNA technology. In your professional opinion, how many cases are out there, or is it just too hard to estimate cases like that?
Yeah, I think it's too hard to estimate, but I think the good thing about it is because we do preserve most of our evidence in murder cases, now we're going to be able to know, and we're going to be able to eliminate that doubt for some people, or we're also going to be able to say, hey, maybe we did get this wrong. And I think that's really the benefit of this program, is saying science has made tremendous advances, not only on the issue of DNA, but also on the issue of fingerprints, touch DNA, things that didn't exist 20, 30, 40 years ago.
And what do you say to someone who sees this and believes either themselves or someone in their family may benefit from this program? How do they reach out to your office?
So beginning January 1st, there's actually just going to be a form on our webpage in which it's going to provide individuals with information that they can fill out, and then that will begin the process of us looking into the conviction.
This program only applies to cases and convictions that happened in Marion County. And if you'd like to see the full conversation, you can go to this story that's in our app and on our website. Working for you, Cornelius Hawker, WRTV.
Cornelius, thank you so much. Good morning. This to Greenwood, Greentown, and Greencastle on this Wednesday. The federal government has now fully restored its protections for a big group of immigrants. The Obama-era Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals program, also known as DACA, had been dismantled by President Trump back in 2017. The administration has now reversed that to comply with a federal judge's order. The Department of Homeland Security has posted on its website it is now accepting new applications for 2-year renewals. The department is also accepting applications to temporarily leave the states. DACA protects about 650,000 people from being deported and makes them eligible for work permits. Lauren?
Raphael, thousands of restaurants may close their doors for good by the end of the year. The National Restaurant Association says an additional 10,000 could close in the next 3 weeks without a stimulus from Congress. The group estimates more than 100,000 restaurants have already closed this year. The group says 87% of full-time restaurants reported an average 36% drop in revenue. 83% expect sales to be even worse over the next 3 months. Here at 6:16, let's get a look at our forecast on this Wednesday with Kyle Mounts. Kyle, what do we need today?
Well, the sunglasses, if you're going to be heading out for lunch today, you'll probably still want that coat as well. But the sunglasses are something we haven't needed so far this week. Good news is things are going to be changing for us. We still have that layer of clouds in place early this morning, though, and that's holding our temperatures in the middle 30s. It's 35 right now in Indy and Kokomo, 37 in Muncie and Shelbyville, coming in at 34 degrees. Now, it does feel a little bit colder because we've got a southwest breeze at about 10 to 15 miles per hour. So in many spots, it's taking the wind chill into the middle and upper 20s. Feels like 26 downtown, feels like 28 for you right now in Greenfield and 33, the wind chill in the Bloomington area. As we check out the forecast, though, throughout the morning, we are going to start off with some clouds here as that sun comes up a little before 8 o'clock this morning. But then look at that. We start to really clear things out as we get toward lunch hour today. Temperatures that will respond to that. We'll get to 43 here at 11 a.m., 46 for the lunchtime temperature. And then later on this afternoon, how about some lower 50s to go along with that and the sunshine? So kind of a double bonus as we go through the middle of the week. Your high temperature 54 today in Bloomington, 52 in Muncie, and middle 50s for you around the Lafayette area. Those temperatures are going to stay on the mild side. There's that average of 40. We are going to be holding around 50 and even into the middle 50s the next couple of days. But as we go into the second half of the weekend, that's where we kind of get that reality check. Temperatures are going to be falling back a little below average here as we go Sunday into Monday. And it comes usually with those temperature transitions with some precipitation. And we do have that coming up on Friday evening at 8 o'clock. Start to see a little bit of green moving into the northwestern portion of the state. I do think we're looking at mainly rain with this system, if not the entire thing being rain. There's going to be some snow on the backside from around Kansas City through Chicago, but I think that by the time the colder air gets in here, the rain should pretty much be out of central Indiana and over into Ohio for us, and that will happen as we get into our Saturday night. As far as what happens behind the system, there's that reality check. Highs are back into the upper 30s as early as Sunday. We'll stay there on Monday as we get a little bit of sunshine working its way back in, and that high will be around 40 degrees on Tuesday. Put it all together now in that 7-day planning forecast and looking good here as we go through the next few days. Again, dry weather really through all of Friday until we get into Friday evening with those highs in the 50s there. We start off at 45 Saturday morning. We'll have some wet weather around as we start Saturday, and again throughout the day there. If you've got some errands to run this weekend, you kind of have to decide either dodging the raindrops on Saturday or bundling up a little bit more with some dry weather on Sunday. And we'll keep those highs around 40, Lauren, into early next week.
All right, Kyle, thank you. Let's take a look right now at your commute. As Kyle said, things are dry today. This is I-465 and Madison Avenue down the south side between the East Street exit and the I-65 I-465 interchange down there. And you can see traffic is traveling smoothly. It is picking up more headlights moving across your screen, both eastbound and westbound, but we're not monitoring any issues to slow you down at this early hour. The time right now is 6:19. You may be waiting for some packages to arrive. And as we're shopping online a little bit more this holiday season, pest control experts expect to see more calls. That's because those cardboard packages left out on the porch are basically an invitation right into your home. Some of those pests include American and German cockroaches, silverfish, even book lice. Now, unlike body lice, book lice are mostly harmless, but they're more of a nuisance. During this time, it's important that you open up your packages outside. You'll want to do a quick inspection of the exterior of the box as well.
Look for gnaw marks, any types of droppings on the boxes, and then before you bring them in, go ahead and open that cardboard box.
Well, once you open up the box, shake out all the items inside and look for fecal droppings, urine marks, egg casings, any other type of clues that show that there were insects inside. After inspecting the box, it's fine to still use it to wrap your gifts, but make sure to dispose of it as soon as possible after Christmas. If you think you have an infestation, get a pest control expert to take care of it.
And if you steal someone's packages off their porch, I hope you get a box full of roaches, because you deserve that. Listen, so each year, millions of Americans, they gather around the TV, right, to watch some holiday classics like Charlie Brown. So coming up, how you can watch this holiday tradition for free, of course, so you don't waste your money. Let's head outside right now on this Wednesday morning. A big good morning to Edinburgh, Ellettsville, and Elwood, all great places to call home. You're watching Good Morning Indiana, where? Right here on WRTV.
We want to welcome you back in here to Good Morning Indiana. This is I-465 in East Washington Street. A live look at traffic over on the east side where traffic is traveling smoothly this morning. It's been a pretty quiet morning commute so far. Great news for your Wednesday. Raphael, it is that time of the morning where we chat about what is trending at 6.
I know how much you love Christmas because I think you really began decorating. Was it back in October? Be honest.
Yeah, I got out the stuff, I'd say, in October.
You got out the stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, so listen, for all of us We're family, right? So there's always one house on that block. And if you're in Johnson County, it may be the Casey home, you see. But in Grapevine, Texas, though, that home belongs to Louis Murillo. For the first time, he's decorated his home with nearly 1,000 decorative vintage Santas. Where do you find all those Santas? His wife Lori says he's lost his mind, but it's all for a good cause. Murillo is planning to raise $10,000 for a nonprofit called Grace that provides Christmas for families in need. So if it's for a good cause, you put out as many Santas as you want because obviously it's going to help many families.
Wow.
Lauren, is your house like that?
Not that. We don't have that much attic space to store all of those Santas. We just have, our bushes with lights on them and some garlands and that kind of thing. Yeah.
Just a small barn. You have a little small barn, a little, little silo in the backyard. Okay.
Yeah. These people, they have a lot of space and a lot of time, but I love it. So, well, here's a good story. A bakery in Kansas comes to the aid of a family to help a man celebrate his 90th birthday. So each year his sister Marion bakes him a gooseberry pie, and because of the pandemic, she needed a little help, so she called Bread Basket Bakery and asked the owner for some help. Well, the baker tracked down gooseberries on Amazon and then hand-delivered the pie to this gentleman here. The 90-year-old says it means a lot, especially since his family hasn't gotten together since February. Still getting that birthday surprise. Gotta love that.
Hey, you gotta love that. 2 officers in Philadelphia help a local grandmother in need of a roof repair. You see, Shahalti Halti was scammed out of $500 when she was tried to get her roof fixed, so she filed a police report. Community officers Cynthia Padua and Ryan Barksdale couldn't stop thinking about Halti. That's when they asked around and found Clarence E. Smith Roofing, who made the repair as a gift. Listen, there's always great people doing good things around the country, so that's just an amazing story out of Philadelphia. Help your neighbor if you can, right, Lauren? That's the message every day of the week. Help your neighbor if you can.
Yeah, and a great early Christmas present for her as well. Yeah. All right, let's check out your forecast as we get a little closer to Christmas. We know we've got the warm up coming our way today with temperatures in the 50s. The outlook as we go just before Christmas and Christmas Eve here. This takes us through December 23rd, calling for another surge of some above average warmth. The average high at that point dips down to around 37 degrees. Because of that, we're kind of dialing back even more here. Our chances of a white Christmas down to about 20% for you. It was at about 30, but looks like we may be a little warmer as we go into our Christmas Day. Here's a look at something that might lift your spirits here a little bit if it is getting you down with this Christmas that may not be so white. Our daylight hours are going to start getting a little longer here in the evening. We've had our earliest sunset at 5:19 earlier this week. Of course, the shortest daylight hours coming our way as winter begins later this month on the 21st.
All right, Kyle, thank you so much. So Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, the Grinch, a Charlie Brown Christmas, Raphael, they have been holiday traditions for half a century now. But this year, as a lot of people have been saying, Charlie Brown, it's no longer airing on network TV. Thankfully, our family DVR'd it last season, so we're still watching that this season.
Yeah, a little bah humbug on some of that.
Right.
But working for you, John Mattery shows you how you can still see it for free so that you don't waste your money.
The holiday season won't be the same without a Charlie Brown Christmas on network TV for the whole family to watch. But after viewer outrage, it may be coming back for one night. Viewers looking for a Charlie Brown Christmas won't find it on ABC or CBS stations this year for the first time in 50 years. Apple this fall snapped them up, and they'll be streaming on Apple TV Plus from now on. Don't want to pay to subscribe to Apple TV? Not to worry. Apple just announced you'll be able to stream A Charlie Brown Christmas free from December 11th to December 13th. But from the doesn't that stink file, the fact Apple's free offer doesn't help grandma or grandpa who don't stream and just watch cable or antenna TV. That stinks. So after thousands of viewer complaints, Apple just announced it is allowing PBS stations to air the show once this year on Sunday, December 13th. Check your local listings, as they say. You can also buy Grandma a DVD of the show. Walmart, Target, and Amazon still offer a Charlie Brown Christmas on DVD for about $10. The only thing missing, the old Dolly Madison snack cake commercials that used to air during the broadcast. Streaming TV is the future, but some traditions are still enjoyed best the old-fashioned way, so don't waste your money. I'm John Mattery. Good morning, Indiana.
From the station working for you, this is Good Morning Indiana, streaming now.
Now on Good Morning Indiana on this Wednesday morning, this is your 6:30 news feed. A Noblesville Youth Baseball League is asking you to keep an eye out for some equipment stolen from their property. Noblesville Babe Ruth Baseball says their rigid toolkit is missing, as well as a red 4x8 trailer with new decking. They were stolen from a storage shed Monday night. If you see these things for sale or know anything about the situation, you're being asked to call Noblesville Police.
The state attorney general's office has finalized a settlement over evictions at the I-70 mobile home park. The mobile home park forced people to leave last year without giving them the titles to their mobile homes. WRTV began reporting on this situation in August of 2019 when owner Blue Lake Incorporated announced it was evicting all of its residents. Shortly after that, Attorney General Curtis Hill obtained a restraining order to stop the evictions.
Let's take you east of Indianapolis, where animal control officers in Randolph County have seized 6 neglected and malnourished horses from a home. The condition of the horses has been under investigation since last month. The State Board of Animal Health says 4 adult horses, a pony, and a mini pony were in poor health with no access to food. The case has now been turned over to the Randolph County Prosecutor's Office.
Former South Bend Mayor Pete Buttigieg may have a role in the administration of President-elect Joe Biden. Axios is reporting that Biden is considering a high-profile ambassadorship for his former presidential rival, and that could possibly send Buttigieg to China. Reports indicate Buttigieg also remains in contention for a domestic position like Secretary of Transportation or Commerce. But first, here at 6:31, I want to thank you for joining our team on Good Morning Indiana. Wednesday morning, we're halfway through the work week, and Raphael, finally, a little bit of good news in the forecast. You can leave your house today.
I can leave my home today. I'm getting the bike ready for the Franklin Greenway. Kyle Mounts, you have the best forecast on this midweek of the week. So, hey, bring it on, buddy.
Yeah, that gets us through this hump day pretty well, doesn't it? We've got temperatures that are going to be warming up. As you head out there this morning, it's not going to feel too different from yesterday morning. Temperatures are starting off right about where they were 24 hours ago. That puts us at 35 in Indy, 37 for you in the Muncie area, and 36 in Lafayette. A little bit of a breeze, though, does give us wind chills in the upper 20s. You've got 35 in Hendricks County and Plainfield, Zionsville coming in the middle 30s, and 33 in New Pal this morning. As we check out those temperatures through the day, we're going to see the clouds erode, lead to some sunshine, and look at what it does to those numbers. 46 degrees here at noon. We'll see temperatures that get into the lower 50s later today, and even into this evening, not too bad. Through 8 o'clock, we've got 41, and that'll come with some clear skies across the area. So you're not going to need the umbrella today. You won't need it tomorrow either, I think, or Friday either. I think as we get into Saturday, that's where we've got some fairly soggy weather coming our way, and then it will bring in some cooler air for the second half of the weekend. We'll detail all that coming up here in just a few minutes, but Lauren is keeping tabs on your roads.
That's right, Kyle. Let's take a look out there right now. This is I-65 north of 38th Street here on the northwest side. Traffic is moving along smoothly northbound and southbound. I'm not monitoring any slowdowns on the roads for your commute, but of course we'll keep you posted. So the White House is offering a new COVID-19 relief proposal, but it could put talks of a bipartisan compromise in Congress in jeopardy. The plan from the Trump administration would send $600 relief checks to most Americans. That's half of the payments back in March, if you remember. However, it would not extend the extra unemployment benefits that are part of the deal being negotiated in Congress right now. Democratic leaders rejected the White House plan for that reason. Many Senate Republicans are still pushing for the deal that would keep the additional unemployment but not offer the relief checks. Right now, more than 20 million Americans are receiving unemployment benefits.
The state is boosting contact tracing efforts to slow the spread of COVID-19, and WRTV is taking you inside, showing you this process firsthand. Brent Lyle says he caught the virus from a relative. He battled symptoms for about a month, and during that time, the State Department of Health reached out to him multiple times, via text, via email, and they even called him a few times.
It was simple set of questions. You know, do you know that you're positive? Yes, I did find that out. Do you know who you have been around in the past X number of days since the first symptoms that you felt? Yes, I do. And can you identify if anyone within the last 72 hours has been exposed to you who wasn't already in quarantine with you.
You're asked to keep this in mind. Officials strongly encourage Hoosiers to cooperate with contact tracing to help protect your family, your friends, and your neighbors.
It is 6:34 and Hoosier renters continue to struggle to pay their rent, and the federal moratorium on evictions is set to expire in a few weeks. Last month, 9 million renters nationwide said that they were behind on rent, and up to 250,000 Hoosiers are at risk of eviction. Andrew Bradley leads the economic development group Prosperity Indiana. He says if Congress does not release additional rent relief, the state will soon have to make some hard decisions to prevent thousands of Hoosiers from becoming homeless.
We've heard about a plan that could provide $25 billion for rental assistance, and that's about a quarter of what we need to get through 2021. So if our Indiana senators act, Todd Young and Mike Braun can be champions on those bills, then that could really make a difference for at least 100,000 Hoosier families that are at risk of eviction.
Well, the Marion County Rental Assistance Program stopped accepting applications last week. You can still visit indyrent.org to sign up for notifications about when they might offer help again. If you live outside of Marion County, you can apply at indianahousingnow.org, but that program also has a waiting list.
Lauren, this is a serious situation. As you know, Indiana continues to have some of the worst COVID-19 numbers in the country. Next, a live report on the latest warning from the White House saying the state's situation is dire.
He sees the worst of the pandemic up close just about every day on the job. Next, how he's chronicling his experiences for current and future generations. The time on this Wednesday is 6:36. Good morning, Indiana. We'll be right back with you just after the break. Stick around.
The pressure is on the governor, Lauren, to take action to slow the spread of the coronavirus in light of an increase in the number of cases in our state.
And later today, Raphael, we'll see if there will be any changes following this dire warning from Washington about the COVID-19 outbreak here in Indiana. Our Kelsey Anderson joins us now with more on that warning. Kelsey, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Lauren. So it will be interesting to hear what the governor has to say in his weekly COVID-19 update that's happening today at 2:30, because we are learning right now that Indiana has the 5th most cases across the country of COVID-19. So ABC News has obtained the latest COVID-19 White House task force report on Indiana, and it says Indiana is in the red zone for cases. Now that indicates 101 or more new cases per 100,000 people. The report also says, quote, despite the severity of this surge and the threat to the hospital systems, many state and local governments are not implementing the same mitigation policies that stemmed the tide of the summer surge. That must happen right now. So again, later today around 2:30, we could learn if there's going to be more restrictions here in Indiana when the governor gives his weekly press conference on his COVID-19 update. So of course, we'll have that for you right here on air, and then of course always online on Facebook, on WRTV.com, and of course the WRTV News app. Reporting live, Kelsey Anderson, WRTV.
Kelsey, thank you so much. We will all be watching that news conference later today. Here's a look at the latest COVID-19 numbers. Indiana's death toll has now surpassed 6,000 total deaths. On Tuesday, the State Department of Health reporting 124 more Hoosiers have died with the virus. So far in December, 399 Hoosiers have died with COVID-19, which is already more than the monthly totals over the summer. 5,457 new cases were also reported on Tuesday, bringing the state's total number of cases now to more than 392,000. A frontline worker familiar with the strain of the virus on hospitals and the toll that COVID-19 is taking on lives is now sharing his thoughts in a video diary.
Chaplain with IU Health Methodist says that almost a year into this pandemic, he shares his fears.
We know how to use our protective equipment. We have a really good idea of what will keep us safe, this mask, and I have different kinds of masks. I have a face shield. And we know how it spread, and we feel very confident about that. But I noticed that in myself and those around me that there's a low level of stress, kind of waiting for the other shoe to drop and waiting for it to get worse. I heard that it might peak next week, and I thought this is going to last forever, or at least until 2022. I'm sort of prepared for it to last for a while.
Well, tomorrow, Pfizer's coronavirus vaccine could receive emergency use authorization from the FDA. And of course, we'll be sure to update you on the vaccine's approval and how the vaccine will be given out here in the state of Indiana. That information will be posted on our website. Just go to WRTV.com.
It made its debut at the first Brickyard 400 right here in Indianapolis, where the vintage vehicle was found, and its future once all that dust is removed. It's a story you'll only see on WRTV. But first, let's check on your Wednesday forecast with Kyle Mounts. Good morning, Kyle.
And good morning, Raphael. It's chilly here. We've got 35, but we're actually warmer than Atlanta this morning and only 6 degrees cooler than Orlando. And this afternoon, we're going to continue our warming trend as sunshine returns to the area, highs in the 50s. We'll talk about some weekend changes coming our way, though. You're watching Good Morning Indiana right here on WRTV.
Welcome back. The time right now is 6:45. Let's take a look right here at traffic on I-465 near State Road 67 on the southwest side. You can see traffic there is moving along smoothly for your morning drive. We'll keep you updated on any crashes or delays to slow down your commute. So, Raphael, racing is part of Indy's DNA, whether it's the Indy 500 or the Brickyard 400.
And only on WRTV, the stock car found in a home garage, once driven by an Indy 500 champion with special ties to the city and to WRTV. Underneath thick dust, hidden in a garage, this racing machine, tied to racing history, was found 653 miles away from Indianapolis. The 99 car is now making its way back home to Indiana.
Sometimes the chase is better than the find, but this thing being, Indianapolis all over it, it's time to bring it home.
This vintage video shows the ribbon cutting of the vintage vehicle. Indy 500 champion Danny Sullivan was focused in 1994 of competing in the first ever NASCAR race at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Sullivan signed on several local companies, including WRTV, to sponsor the number 99, which was named the corporate car of Indianapolis.
It brought out the first caution flag. So in 1994, I was sitting in turn 1, and the window blew out of the car and landed in the raceway, or a speedway. I still have somewhere my piece of that broken window.
Travis Bell was in the stands for the inaugural Brickyard 400. He saw Sullivan finish the race. The 99 car was never seen again, and Travis wondered about its whereabouts. His friend Aaron Brown got a tip that led them to a garage in Southern Pines, North Carolina, just east of Charlotte. Years of auto archaeology paid off, and Travis bought the number 99. Expect no paint job. Expect no changes. Just a classic comeback.
Has never been repainted. It is exactly as it did, or it looks and appears the day it came off the track. It would be great to see Danny Sullivan take another lap around the Brickyard in the 99.
Of course, the vehicle currently is being restored in North Carolina before it makes its big trip right back here to the Hoosier State. And Kyle, you would have a perfect forecast today for that vehicle to make that comeback. But of course, it's still being worked on, and we'll just have to wait a little bit longer before it makes its new debut back in Indianapolis.
Yeah, but what a crazy and cool story. Thanks so much for that. But yeah, if you're going to be out and about across central Indiana today for a drive, looking nice out there. We've still got some clouds in place right now. Temperatures that are in the 30s, 37 in Bloomington and Muncie, 35 downtown and Kokomo. There's that southwest breeze, again, about 5 to 15 miles per hour. And I think we'll keep that wind around 10 miles per hour as we go through the day. So that brings the wind chills into the 20s this morning. But we still are going to have some clouds around as we get to 8 o'clock this morning. We're starting to thin those out, though, and pretty rapidly. As we get to the lunch hour, I think it'll be almost total sunshine for us out there, and that's going to continue right on through the afternoon and into the evening hours as we're going to get a break from those gray skies that have been locked in place Monday and Tuesday. Temperatures today will climb into the upper 30s by 10 a.m. That was our high yesterday, so we will surpass that pretty quick. 46 at lunchtime, and temperatures that will make their way into the lower 50s. So a little bit of a December thaw here. 52 for your high today in Muncie, 54 in Lafayette. Not quite getting to the 50-degree mark there in Marion, Indiana, but you will be into the middle 50s in Shelbyville and Martinsville, as well as Brazil, and 54 degrees today in Bedford, Columbus, 52 in Greensboro. And the mild temperatures, they're not just here today and gone tomorrow. They're actually going to continue to climb on Thursday and Friday. We've got highs in the middle 50s for you there. And I do think we're going to have some dry weather here through the end of the week. Then it changes a little bit, though, as we go into the upcoming weekend and possibly as early as Friday evening. This is TrueCast, 8 o'clock on Friday evening, and you can see a little bit of that green showing up in northwestern areas with some rain. I think overnight Friday and then throughout the day on Saturday does appear to be a fairly soggy day with some rain around. And then you see, yeah, there is some snow back on the backside of the system across portions of Illinois back into Missouri. But I don't think we're going to be cold enough to deal with that. It will stay off to our north, and we are going to have just rain that could add up to about a half an inch or so before it moves into Ohio, and that would be by Saturday night. 7-day planning forecast, not bad. Can't really complain too much here as we go through Friday for December with highs in the 50s there. We'll actually be in the 40s to start off Saturday with the wet weather moving in, but really Saturday, the only chance for rain in that 7-day forecast. It's really going to be a focus on temperatures Sunday into next week with highs back around 40 degrees. Lauren, how are things on the roads?
Well, things are looking pretty good, Kyle. Here's a look right now as you're traveling into the downtown area. Here's what you'll see at the north split. This is I-65 and I-70. The right side of your screen, that's I-70 coming out from the east side, heading around the curve there towards Meridian and Pennsylvania streets. You can see that traffic is picking up at this hour, but everything is still moving along up to speed. And as I take a look around the metro area and across central Indiana, we don't have any crashes to slow you down, so it is great news for your Wednesday. Raphael?
So most people predicted a baby boom during the pandemic, but instead, women are freezing their eggs in record numbers. Coming up later on Good Morning America, right here on WRTV, what you should know if you're considering this as part of your family planning.
Is the biggest game of the year in Indiana in jeopardy? That plus today's other top news stories next, right here on Good Morning Indiana. We'll see you on the other side of the break. Welcome back. It is 6:54 here on your Wednesday morning. Meteorologist Kyle Mounts has a check of our much milder Wednesday forecast coming right up for you. But first, Raphael, let's take a look at today's top stories.
Yeah, federal execution team members in Terre Haute have tested positive for COVID-19. The Justice Department says 8 prison employees tested positive following an execution which occurred last month. 5 of those employees are scheduled to take part in an execution scheduled for tomorrow. Prison officials also say an inmate died with COVID-19 at the Terre Haute complex.
It is a big setback for a bar in Carmel. The Goat typically stays open until around 3 a.m., but the city will begin enforcing a rule requiring it to close at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. The city says the previous owners of the property ran a breakfast and lunch cafe. This new enforcement comes after continued complaints from neighbors and businesses in the area. Now the owners of the Goat will have to get a new variance or zoning change approved in order to stay open into the evening.
The people are talking about this. Could Saturday's old Oak and Bucket game between Purdue be in jeopardy? The Boilermakers and the Hoosiers both canceled practice on Tuesday. IU says it was due to an increase in COVID cases in the program. Purdue says it canceled practice to evaluate results of recent COVID-19 testing. Both schools, Lauren, say a decision on Saturday's game has not been made.
Well, it's the Big Ten trying to keep the Hoosiers out of the conference championship game. This weekend's game between Ohio State and Michigan is canceled because of COVID inside the Michigan program. Under the Big Ten rules, that would leave Ohio State 1 game short of the minimum needed to play to qualify for the Big Ten title. However, the conference issued a statement suggesting those rules could be changed. If the rules remain intact, Indiana would face Northwestern in the December 19th championship game. right here at Lucas Oil Stadium. We'll just have to wait around and see. All right, so people like Raphael who want to get outside today and get some tasks done, today is their day.
Let me free. Let me free from this living room, please.
Yes, head out into some of that sunshine we're going to enjoy later today. You know, if they do have the Old Oak and Bucket game on Saturday, likely to play in some rain there, but temperatures should be mild. Right now, no rain for us. We've got 35 degrees. Feels like 26, though, as we've got a southwest breeze close to 15 miles per hour. So it will be a little breezy today, but quite a bit warmer. Temperatures already in the middle 40s here midday. We'll get to 50 for that afternoon high with sunny skies. And as we look at the 7-day planning forecast, even a little warmer here through the end of the week. Thursday and Friday, highs in the middle 50s for us. Looks like it'll be dry there. Then as we get into the weekend, Saturday, pretty soggy with some rain around the area. Could see about a ½ inch of wet weather before temperatures cool down and we dry out into early next week.
All right, Kyle, thank you. We're back here in 25 minutes and throughout Good Morning America with local news, weather, and traffic updates. We hope you have a great Wednesday.